how you can make money online using dropservicing business model by starting a virtual assistant agency. If you're new to dropservicing business model, in this business, we basically resell other people's services from freelancers in Asia, and we resell in Western markets, US, Canada, Australia, UK, and places like that, and we make money. So if you're interested in this business model, I'm gonna show you an entire step-by-step blueprint how you can start such a business in this video, specifically focusing on starting a virtual assistant agency. And if you're new to my channel, I've been making dropservicing content on YouTube for over a year. Tens of thousands of people have watched my videos, okay? And a lot of people are actually making money by watching my videos and implementing my strategies. As you can see, school.com/dropservicing is my group, 2,600 drop servicers on here, okay? And as you can see, I've got a client wins tab where a lot of people are posting their results. As you can see, dozens and dozens of people are making money with my strategy. Some people are even saying that I'm changing their life. Look at this guy, 23 days ago, he made $1,800, profit of $1,680 per month for just 4 videos. With drop servicing, you can resell a lot of things, not just virtual assistant services, right? You can resell logo designs, graphic designs, web development, video editing, and a lot of other stuff as well. In this video, I'll show you step-by-step tutorial how to start dropservicing business model, okay? But also specifically, like I said, I'm gonna be focusing on virtual assistant business. Now, 3 reasons why specifically in this video, I'm gonna be focusing on virtual assistant agency. First thing, this is a recurring drop servicing niche. So think about it. Okay, what is a virtual assistant first of all? A virtual assistant is somebody typically already in Asian countries, a lot of them in India, and a lot of them in Philippines. These are like 2 super major countries where literally millions of people are freelancing, okay, and doing administrative work, sales work, marketing work, and stuff like that for US, UK, Australian, and similar kind of market companies. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can make money with that. Okay, how is drop servicing different from outsourcing? Well, first of all, virtual assistant business can be an outsourcing business, but can also be a drop servicing business. What is the difference? Well, if you typically outsourcing is where you have a huge company, right? And they just want to set up an office offshore, maybe like in Philippines, hire 20, 30, 40, 50 people, 100 people, right? And do outsourcing for a large business. As a drop servicer is a completely different thing. What you can do as a single individual living, I don't know, in the US, UK, even in India, it doesn't matter where you live, to be honest, right? What you essentially are doing, you're getting a client for these virtual assistants, then you get this virtual assistant and you're in the middle. So you're getting the money from the client and then you're paying the virtual assistant. The virtual assistant does the work for your client and this is how you profit. You take the difference, okay? So for example, why I'm talking specifically about this niche is, as you can see, it's a recurring niche. You know, a lot of people, when they watch my dropservicing videos, right? A lot of these ones, you know, tens of thousands of views on some of these videos. People typically comment, Tom, what are those recurring niches where I can get one client and start to make money long term? Virtual assistant agency is one of them. Not just video editing, not just graphic design for some niches, okay? But also this one is super highly recurring. How do I know that? Well, because I hired virtual assistant for my business. At some point, I had 16 people full-time working for me from Philippines as virtual assistants, doing work for my own companies and also for my clients. So I know a lot about this business, okay? And the most important part is I was hiring them full-time for from 2 years up to 5 years. The best people I retained over 5 years even. Okay, of course, people change jobs. Sometimes they want to leave. Sometimes I want to change them for whatever reason. That's why not always you can keep them forever. But like I said, it's a long-term thing. So sometimes these clients, they're gonna hire a virtual assistant and work with them for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It could be a contract for a few months. It could be something like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Now, the most important part is, if you're new to this business model of, drop servicing, I just explained, we're basically reselling other people's services from Asian countries into Western markets. But if you're also new to virtual assistants, what are these virtual assistants? So let's go step by step. It's going to be an entire blueprint how you can start this business. So virtual assistant, sometimes known as VA, basically is somebody who provides a number of different administrative task services to a business or an individual. Okay, what could those tasks be? So email and calendar management, customer service, data entry and research. This is absolutely huge for VAs. Billing, paying invoices, and bookkeeping. This is what I've done with some of my VAs. I gave them my cards and they were processing some orders and stuff like that, paying suppliers. Book travel and accommodation, website upkeeping and content management, social media. Very big one, okay? So, with these VAs, you can also manage social media pages for other people and brands, okay? Editing and reviewing, transcribing work. So these are just some of the tasks, okay? Now that you know what VAs are and how they can help someone's business, even your business, right? It is very important to talk about, okay, what are the main niches that people are basically hiring VAs for? So if we look at these statistics, okay, this is quite recent. So administrative work is 37%, so it's a huge amount. Marketing, 20%. Sales and prospecting, 14%. If you are an online creator or, somebody who's really been in online marketing, you probably understand the concept of appointment setters and, sales closers and stuff like that. This is what you can do. So you hire your VAs, right? And then they do sales and prospecting for clients in US, UK, Canada, Australia, and you make money. You can do that. Absolutely. You can basically manage a team of closers or appointment setters and make money. Customer service, absolutely massive. How many times have you really called up a huge company in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and somebody from India picks up? Of course, usually these people are not in the US. They're in India. It's a call center and stuff like that. Sometimes it's a drop servicing business. Sometimes it's an outsourcing business. But the point stands the same. You can actually offer, a VA agency service for customer service, for businesses looking for customer service. And you can take profit and margin on those people doing this customer service. Bookkeeping, I know one guy was doing this in Asian countries. He has an accounting business in the United Kingdom, and a lot of his accountants and bookkeepers are actually in Asia. So he's arbitraging as well. As you can see, administrative work, marketing, and sales and prospecting really are the biggest three niches for that. Okay. Now, there's more information on that and stuff like that. But the most important part is I want to show you that this is actually growing. As you can see, the market size for this thing, for virtual assistants, is 4.2 billion last year, and is projected to grow to 11 billion. This is absolutely crazy. So, some of you may think like, oh, Tom, this sounds really good. Like, that's crazy. But how can we start this virtual assistant agency? Okay. Let's just relax for 1 second. Let me explain to you everything, how it works, and then I'm going to just show you that it's actually not that difficult. It's not that difficult to actually get into this business model. So first thing is, as it says here, decide your services. Okay, so let's just say you want to get into the drop servicing business model and you chose virtual assistant agency as your niche. What you essentially have to do, first of all, is to understand, okay, so you've got your service as an umbrella virtual assistant, but what those virtual assistants are actually going to do? Well, first of all, you can go on Fiverr and see what people are offering, okay, what kind of things people are offering. So let's click on this one, for example. Let's see the tasks that she can provide, because sometimes you can get inspiration for that. So services that, for example, this lady is providing: email customer support and management, social media support, personal and executive assistant, okay, data entry and management, proofreading and editing, calendar management, basic graphic design, research assistant, file organization, okay, and she can use these softwares as well. Now, how can you actually go on top of these people and make margin from their work? That's the most important part, right? Because if we're drop servicing, we don't want to just connect the client and connect this lady, right? And they just, work together and the client pays the lady and, they just make money, right? On Fiverr or whatever. We don't want that. We want to be in the middle collecting all this margin because we had the idea, right? We found a client. We actually organized all this thing. We want to make the money. I want to make the money. I want you to make the money. That's how it works, okay? So how we can do that? Very, very simply. We need to have a company, right? Or some kind of an agency image in the middle. So what you essentially are going to do, is you're going to do something like this. So I'm going to show you actually a few examples of how people typically actually approach this stuff. So this is my personal LinkedIn. I'm, showing you behind the scenes of that people are actually offering this stuff. I just didn't just came up out of nowhere. People are actually offering this stuff. So on my LinkedIn, if I type in virtual assistant, you can see how many people are actually offering this exact service for me. So as you can see, it's great connecting with you. Have you been not sure if it would be helpful or right, but are you looking to save 40 plus hours a week? We have access to high quality virtual assistant appointment service closes starting for only $8 an hour. Okay, as you can see, she's basically promoting this VA service to me on LinkedIn, and I've got a bunch of these people doing the same. Look at this one. So, hey Tom, hope you had a great week. Thanks for connecting, blah blah. Never heard back from you, but as you can see, I'm the founder of Virtual Assistant Agency. If that makes sense, let me know. Actually, let's check this lady's LinkedIn. I've never really been there, okay? Expert virtual assistant services for small business owners, admin, operations, social media, and bookkeeping. Founder at Lyris Virtual Business Services. Tailored VA support to help your business. It is actually amazing. She's been doing this for a total of 7 years. Okay, she's in the United Kingdom, as you can see. This is what I guys are proposing to you. Okay, social media support, general admin support, email, calendar management. This is exactly what I'm talking about, guys. You can start a business just like this lady has started, okay, and make money. This is amazing, right? This is pretty crazy, and this is how these people are promoting. They're sending messages to business owners just like me, promoting this stuff, okay, and they're making money. Actually, let's look at this page. So she has a page. Wow, 1K followers. This is pretty insane, okay? The most important part in this business is doing exactly what Lisa has done. Is creating a business page like that. Is creating a website. Is creating some kind of an image somewhere on social media or website or whatever, right? And then it is a gateway for your clients. So let's look at, for example, the website. Helping you work smarter, not harder. Okay, so expert virtual support, VA services, our packages, and stuff like that. Let's have a look. Okay, 10 hours of virtual assistant per month, request pricing. So pricing is not out there for some reason. I'm not sure why, but probably it's because it's custom. So if a client comes in and it's a big one, Lisa is actually going to ask for probably 2 or 3K a month for just one person, okay? And then she's going to probably go to something like Fiverr or maybe even onlinejobs.ph, which is actually a brilliant website, and she's going to find somebody who's going to do this exact thing full-time for $500, $400 and stuff like that. And Lisa's going to pocket $1,500 a month just from one person. If you have 8 people like that, you're making 10K a month by doing absolutely nothing, just managing these people basically who are going to work with your clients. Now, how can you basically make sure that you have a website just like this, or you have a LinkedIn page just like this, right? And that when clients work with your VAs, they're not going to ask you run away and stuff like that. Well, you have to create a basic a draft legal agreement that when somebody is hiring your VAs, they cannot basically steal those VAs. They really cannot, they cannot just simply, work with a VA, right? And then hire them on a full-time payroll. In the contract, you have to write, if that happens, that company is liable to pay, for example, $10,000 or $20,000 because you basically found them a perfect employee that is working and helping their business. Okay, that could be a clause. You could actually start a VA agency with a clause like that. If somebody wants to keep that person, okay, sure, pay me $10,000. You can keep that person. He can work for you full time. Essentially, the point I'm trying to make is that, if you're starting a virtual assistant agency, you gotta be the front man. You gotta be the front lady of such a business, okay? You can't really avoid having a website. You can't really avoid having a LinkedIn page and stuff like that, because most of the business owners, let's be real, are not on TikTok and are not really on Instagram. They're chilling on LinkedIn, they're chilling on YouTube, and probably on emails and phones, okay? That's what I'm doing anyway as well. I'm not on TikTok most of the time, so that's why these people are messaging me on LinkedIn and trying to get hold of me. Look, I'm going to show you more people as well. Look at this one as well. Hey, Tom, Elena Malik. I visited your profile. We basically have VAs, right? We place them with business owners to help them elevate their businesses more than expectations. These VAs perform a variety of tasks, and we do appointment setting, generating leads, social media management, content creation, video editing, e-commerce, virtual assistants, and a lot more. Okay, so another example, let's look at this one. Virtual assistant services lets us streamline your business. So we help you with that. Again, the same thing. And, she also has a website. This is probably not going to be a good example because I see she's using a Wix, default Wix site without actually having a custom domain. Look at this one. Not very good, but still, I'm surprised if she's actually getting clients for this. Okay, administrative support, customer support, project management. Okay, so, and she's also having a very, very long message, not something that I would recommend. Look at this one. Hey, Tom, Pi from Top Tier Outsourcing. Are you guys interested in virtual assistant who can help you accomplish marketing goals via effective advertising campaigns, social media management, admin support? Again, same exact thing. Okay, for the purposes of this video is we want to do what Lisa is doing. So creating a LinkedIn page, creating a website, and then being the front man of the agency. Also, a lot of my connections are actually following this page, which is very, very interesting. Okay, so now first thing is, like I said, deciding on your services and then understanding, okay, how can you basically put yourself on top of some freelancers, VA freelancers, get clients, and then clients pay you, you pay your freelancers, you place them in their companies. You have an agreement that basically your clients are directly paying you, and then your VAs are gonna get the salary what you pay them. Okay, you're taking care of all the stuff to do with your VAs. It's none of your clients' business. VAs are coming into your clients and doing the work, but it's none of your client's business what happens behind the scenes, and it's your employees. Okay, it's your people. So second thing is, write a business plan and stuff like that. You don't have to really write a business plan, but it's really good if you write just a small document of A4 or something for you, just to understand what are you actually doing. Okay, so first of all, what are your services and offerings? Okay, who is your ideal client? Because, VA services is a pretty broad thing. As you can see with some of these people, like, they actually are offering a lot of different services. Look, it's a bit too much, right? So if I see somebody like that who's offering everything, typically I wouldn't really take this person very, very seriously. Okay, so who is your ideal client? I really recommend you to focus maybe on some specific industry. For example, let's say finance industry has a bunch of money. New York, London, Switzerland, Singapore, places like that. You want to find some financial companies. You want them ideally be small funds. So sometimes you can find these like hedge funds, mutual funds, and similar kind of funds that have like 20 employees and hundreds of millions of dollars of revenue. Like with this kind of clients, you can place one VA into their business and charge, let's say, $5,000 a month, $3,000 a month, right? For doing some of admin work, marketing work, whatever the stuff they need. It's not up to you to know what they need. These guys typically have huge budgets and they don't care really about this recurring, revenues and stuff like that. So why I'm specifically picking up on finance, because finance industry has a lot of money. Like, you don't want to really go for industries where we're struggling, we don't have money, and you tell them, oh, it costs us, I don't know, let's say $15 or $20 an hour to have this VA in your business, and they're like, oh, we can't afford that or whatever. You want a business that actually has money. Construction industry, also very good. In Western countries like UK, Australia, United Kingdom, United States, construction industry has loads of money. Builders of houses have loads of money. Possibly you could think about those ones as well. Just some ideas. Of course, you can work with like content creators and stuff like that, but typically these businesses are not going to have that much money. Also, with this industry, what is very, very interesting is that, ideally you're not really going for small $500, $600 clients a month. Ideally, you're looking for somebody that's going to pay at least $1,000 for one VA a month, and that VA you want to be paying $500. So you're looking at about 50% margin at the bare minimum. ideally even more, $1,500 from your client, maybe $2,000 from your client, right? And you're paying $500, $600 for your VA. So you're pocketing about $1,000 plus from each VA. So if you have 10 VAs, you can make 10K a month, okay? I know if you're just starting in the drop servicing industry, this may be numbers that are out of this world, and you'd be like, how is that even possible? Why would somebody pay $1,500 a month for an employee, let's say to do marketing or admin or stuff like that, if they can just go straight into, let's say, Fiverr and get these people on there? Yeah, that's true. They can get these people on there, right? But the reality is most of the people that we want to really target, those who have money, they can't be asked to go to these websites. They have no time. Okay, those people have no time to go on Fiverr. They literally could not care more about Fiverr, believe me. At some point, I was very fortunate in my career as well, of my online businesses, where I actually had times where my time was more expensive than doing something. For example, just to give you a very, very silly example, I'm not even near the numbers that some of these people that hire VAs all the time are doing, but I have VAs and have been having them for a long time. That's why I'm using them as well. For example, I can give you one example. One time I had to fly to London, right, from another location, right? And I had a very important work day where I saw that I'm gonna make a lot more money than on plane tickets. So what I did is I basically canceled those tickets, literally just lost the money and just bought the ticket for the next day. Because, everything was planned, all the getting to the airport and stuff like that, everything was bought in advance, but I just couldn't work that day on my stuff that I had to do, and I knew that I was gonna make a lot of money. I was gonna make a lot of money that day, so I literally had to basically not travel that day and travel the next day, and I lost all that money, but I made way more money because I was working. I could work that day, so it was super profitable day for me. So it's just some example that why people are using VAs. Some people literally have no time to even go on Fiverr, read all these reviews, deal with these payments. They cannot care. The other important part is how you will actually market yourself. So if you're starting a virtual assistant agency as a drop servicer, right, how are you actually going to market that agency? So I showed you in this video already how Liz is doing it. And basically, I think most of her marketing seems like it anyway, from the number of followers and people in my connections that are following this page. That's insane. She basically is probably doing it mostly on LinkedIn and maybe somewhere else on the internet. Who knows? But LinkedIn seems to be the place. And I can tell you one thing, that a lot of these virtual assistant businesses are sending messages, paid ones and free ones on LinkedIn. Okay. Very, very good place to do that, because you can basically find business owners. You can target business owners who might be looking for these kind of services. Okay, it's not like you can also find people on YouTube as well. I showed you many times how to find these people. You go on their channel. Look, if you go on my channel, let's just say I was your target audience. You click on more, right? And then you go view email address, and then here is my email address. The same thing you can find for any channel pretty much on YouTube, right? So you can identify some business owners, maybe content creators, and literally just get their email addresses like that, then email them your offering. Now, what are your short and long-term goals, and what are your business expenses will be? Now, the way we're organizing this business is that you don't want to actually have expenses billing for you, and then you have to get it from clients. This is not really a good way. So typically with drop sourcing, what I say is that in the ideal case, we're basically getting paid first, and we're then using that money to pay your suppliers. That way, you're never gonna run into cash flow issues. Also, you have no risk. So the way I would do it, let's just say I showed you how Liza was approaching me, and as you can see how she's following up for a long time, right? Many months. Like, she's following up, and I'm sure she's getting clients this way. I didn't reply, but I'm sure someone else has replied, because she seems to be doing well with that. Okay, so what is very, very, very important is to understand how can we basically get paid from clients, and that's a very simple solution. So let's just say Liz, I replied to Lisa, right? Typically, I think what most of these people say is, Okay, so we can offer, let's say, $1,500 a month for a full-time placement. So somebody is going to work on your business for me, right? And you have to pay, for example, let's say $500 to start working now. And then let's say at the end of the month, the remaining $1,000. Or some people even say you have to pay all of this up front. So $1,500 you pay now, and then the person is going to work for the full month. You know, it's really upon negotiation with your client. It could be 30%, it could be 50%, it could be 100% upfront. So your goal is really to try to actually get at least the amount that your supplier is going to charge you. Okay, so for example, if your supplier is looking to charge, for example, $500 a month, you want your client to pay you $500 a month now, and then the rest at the end of the month, okay? Because then you have no risk, and you get this money from your client now. You can pay your supplier. Supplier works for a month, right? And then you get paid from the client remaining amount, right? And you're in profit, okay? Now, if you're hiring people using this website, onlinejobs.ph, I've hired over 20 people from this website in the last, few years on full-time basis, okay? So I know this website really well. You can basically sign up on this website. It does cost money. Yes, it does cost money. But once you're on here, these are all people that are basically looking for a full-time position. These are not like per project people like people on Fiverr, right? Most of these people are looking for not ongoing, but like per project work. So you're gonna hire them for a small project and stuff like that. But here, you're hiring people for full-time positions. Typically, they want, patient care, 6 months to 1 year. As you can see, some of these people are working 2 to 5 years and stuff like this in these roles. If you pay them well, if you pay them what they want, they can work for you for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Okay. Another thing, very important. This is a Philippine website in Philippines. Okay. Most of the people in here are from Philippines, but sometimes not all of them. I really, really recommend hiring people from Philippines because I had absolutely amazing experience with people from Philippines. I really trust them as a nation. Is absolutely awesome people. Down to earth, really amazing people all year round, speak good English. Also, most of them are very responsible, reliable. That's why people go to Philippines to hire freelancers for virtual assistant services, because these people are amazing. Honestly, I work with some amazing people. Okay, what you typically can get from this website, onlinejobs.ph, how much money you have to pay for these people to work full time. Okay, not per project, full time. Typically, you're gonna be paying about $400 to $500. Easily, you can find people like that, especially if they don't live in the capital Manila, right? Easily, $400 to $500 easily. You can get people like that. Even the first listing that I just posted is $528. Here's $700, $660. This is more. $700. Some of these are more, but then again, it doesn't have to be that much. Also, sometimes people say, "Oh, I want $700." You say, "Can you work for $550?" They agree. It happened many times for me. Okay, so this is your biggest business expense, actually paying these people. Then you're gonna have to have a LinkedIn page, costs nothing to set up, okay? And you're gonna have to have, basically just a website. Just a website like that. Typically, it's gonna be your face on there because you're like the front man or a front lady of the business, right? People trust you. They buy your services, and you're responsible for all these freelancers and stuff like that, okay? This is why she put her face on there, okay? She shows what she can do, general social media. This is a very good service. Honestly, I'm telling you, VA services is very good. And here, book your free discovery call. It's a very, very, very good service. Once you write down, all your expenses, like I said, websites, social media stuff, a little bit of that. And then, of course, you're going to start with just one virtual assistant typically. So you find one virtual assistant, you do some interviews with them. You want to check out their work, what they've done so far, clients they worked with in the past, and then you just hire one person, and then you want to place that person in a business. So you want to find a client that will actually, work for that client. Once you've done that, you move on to the next person, and then the next person, and then the next person. As you can see, it can recur, and hopefully that person is gonna continue to work for your client. But again, what I mean when I say, oh, place into the client's company or anything like that, they're gonna be in Philippines or India or whatever. They're not gonna actually travel to your client's location or whatever. They're gonna typically work online using Skype, using Slack, using WhatsApp and stuff like that. They're gonna communicate every single day, but in reality, they're gonna be paid for your company. They're not going to be in clients' premises and stuff like that. So it's not going to be very easy to actually hire them, okay? And also, a lot of the people don't actually even want to hire these people directly, simply because of all the, legal issues and stuff like that. Because they have to pay holidays, they have to relocate them into their offices and countries and stuff like that. They actually do want to pay a business just like yours, right? Your drop servicing VA business, right? So you deal with all that stuff, and they don't have to do any of the hiring and interviews and all that kind of thing, okay? Now, typically for such a thing, you want to set up an LLC, LTD, and stuff like that. Speak to your lawyer, accountant, CPA, do some online research, whatever. But typically, if you're going to be entering into contracts with your clients, typically you want to have like a proper written contract with them, okay? Creating an online portfolio, it depends on your niche. If we look at here, there's no portfolio. It's just she's listing basically the services, okay? Now, determining your prices, this is very, very important. Like I said, typically, businesses are charging 3 types of categories. So hourly. So for example, if your VA is charging $6 an hour, you want to charge your clients at least $12 an hour. So at least 50% margin you're going to be earning on your employee every single hour, okay? Now, second thing is going to be retainers monthly. Better monthly, not weekly, because it's going to be too much payments, okay? Monthly is a lot better. So, for example, your client is happy to pay, let's say, $1,500 for a administrative assistant, okay? Or an executive assistant or something that is remote based in Philippines from your VA agency, okay? So $1,500 is your client paying, right? And then you want to pay $500, let's say, or $750 or something, right? You have at least 50% margin for your VA. So this is a retainer, a fixed retainer every single month you're billing your client. And then task per project based flat fees. I really do not like that. Honestly, I really am mostly recommending you this. Okay, monthly or weekly or bi-weekly, you want to have a recurring basis on here, and typically most of these companies are going to be looking for recurring basis work, okay? They really don't want to just always look for clients. No, we want to find a client, okay, place the VA in there and just be like, look, give this VA work, we're gonna train them, we're gonna do everything for it to work in your business perfectly. If you don't have work in such a place right now, just relocate this VA into any other area of your business. Like, it can be a very flexible thing, okay? For example, if VA is doing research first, later then they can move into general assistant and maybe executive assistant and stuff like that. You can basically talk to your VA and just be like, look, what kind of skills do you have? How can you help this client? And you can also ask your client, okay, what kind of work do you need? Because my VA can do X, Y, Z. So let's make sure this VA is always utilized, and let's make sure you can get paid at a recurring basis. Now, another very important part is you gotta set up a payment system, because obviously this is not gonna go through Fiverr, this is not gonna go through Upwork, this is not gonna go through anything like that, because you're gonna be paid by your clients directly, maybe into a bank account, okay? For example, another thing is you can use Stripe, okay? Setting up a Stripe account, setting up a PayPal account, either personal or business. These are the best payment systems that you want to use. Now, finding your first clients, as I said, LinkedIn is really a very, very good place, honestly. And I showed you that people are targeting entrepreneurs just like me. We're making money and will have money to spend on these services, and they're messaging them. Now, finding first clients, especially also Facebook groups, you can find, on Twitter, you can find people like business owners, right? On X currently, right? On Reddit, you can find some business owners, Facebook groups as well, forums as well. You want to find places where business owners are hanging out and looking for, different kinds of services. The most important thing with this VA industry is to be super, super flexible, okay? Super flexible. Because I can tell you one thing. Like I said, I've been hiring virtual assistants specifically from onlinejobs.ph for about 5 years, for as long as I've been doing drop servicing, more or less, okay? So, and I can tell you one thing, that typically these people, they're super flexible. They typically have a lot of skills that are quite generic. For example, social media, research, general, copying and pasting stuff, doing research and all that kind of stuff. So they're marketing themselves as, I can do anything and everything you need. They're not an expert in any like super niche thing, okay? Typically, they can't do high-level video editing. Typically, they can't do high-level coding and website development and stuff like that. But like I said, research, data collection, generating leads, emails, phone numbers, right? Doing research, a lot of different kind of things like that. It's very, very, very good and suitable. So I was just showing you here, marketing, administrative work, and sales and prospecting. These are like the core services. Within that, you have a lot of different niches, okay? So what you want to do is you want to be exactly as flexible as an agency, because you're just one layer above. So your VAs can still do the same thing, but you're one layer above. You need to get clients by focusing on what you can offer to those clients, okay? And then once you think of a niche, for example, business owners, right? You can target UK as a market, US as a market, Australia as a market. Find a lot of business owners on LinkedIn, Facebook groups where business owners are hanging out, okay? Reddit, X, and other social media platforms. And then you have to start thinking about, okay, what those people need. Research. Most of businesses need research. Let's be real. Most businesses need research. Collection of data. Getting emails, getting phone numbers. Most businesses need sales. So, generating leads, most businesses need that. Setting appointments, quite a lot of businesses need that, but not all of them. But generating emails and phone numbers, almost all businesses need. That's why some of these messages are actually kind of focused, on specifically, generating leads and stuff like that. Scheduling appointments, as you can see, handling correspondence, customer service as well. Quite a lot of businesses need customer service reps. So what you can offer is you can say, we have virtual assistants who can do your customer service. Your staff member can train these people and they can work full time for you doing customer service, okay? So you hire us as a virtual assistant agency and our agents will do customer service for you. This is just one working example. Like there's so many companies like that in Philippines. You can't even imagine. There's thousands of companies doing that. And a lot of people are making big money with that, okay? And basically charging, charging a margin on these, exactly like these people are doing in my drop servicing community. This guy, for example, is putting a margin on video editors and making money. Okay, as you can see, the profit is huge. So $120 is his basically fulfillment cost for paying the supplier, and he's making $1,680 for 4 videos per month. Look at this one as well. This one, $900 a month by creating YouTube thumbnails. And this guy also actually posted a screenshot as well somewhere. Let's look at this one. Yeah, this was amazing when I saw that. Look, $930. Okay, so in 30 days he made first client. This also getting clients, $120 a week. That was somebody making $5K a month as well in these in these comments as well. As you can see, there's a bunch of different reviews. So join school.com/dropservicing. And then, like I said, if you want to start a drop servicing virtual assistant agency, focus on what I just said. choose a service, find a target audience, business owners focused on UK, US, Australia. If you know other languages like German, French, Dutch, Scandinavian languages, UAE market is very good. Like, it doesn't have to be just the US, okay? Find those business owners, offer them services of your virtual assistant agency, create a LinkedIn page, create a website. I would suggest to have it personal brand led. So you want to have your photo on there, because most of the time people will basically, the sales process is going to be not, your clients thinking about, oh, how do I find a VA business? No, that's not how it works. It works the other way around. You have your business and you have to find a client, pitch them, get into a call, speak to them and say, I have a VA business. Do you need any help with your business? What do you need? We have these services. Which service do you need? And, what are you currently paying for your marketing person? What are you currently paying for your general assistants and all that kind of thing? What if we can give you a worker at a full time basis for twice, 2 times less cost, for example? In New York, try to get a VA, locally based executive assistant in New York or London. You're going to be paying $3, $4, $5K net salary for this person. Then you have taxes and all the other stuff. That's why this works. Because businesses are saving a huge amount of money. It's orders of magnitude cheaper to work with such a company. So you want to at least double. So at least $1,000 a month minimum should be your charge, not less than that. Okay, this is the minimum. Now, if we want to be a bit more aggressive, 500 times 3. So we want to sell $1,500 worth of order for your clients. So $500 is you paying your supplier, $1,500 your client is paying, so you're making $1,000 from just one person a month. 1K times 5. If you have 5 people like that placed in different companies, you're making $5,000 a month profit. Because your costs are very, very tiny. But of course, you then have to manage those people and stuff like that. You also typically have to have weekly or bi-weekly or at least monthly calls with your clients to ask, okay, how is my VA performing in your business? Do you need any help? Or, is it good? Maybe I should replace that person. Is it working out? Does VA understand what's happening and all that stuff? Maybe you can create a Slack group or WhatsApp group or Skype group or something like that, and you can, monitor what is happening. Ideally, you understand, for example, on Slack, you have to be in the group, right? And then you can understand, okay, what the client is talking to the VA, right? And then is that VA actually delivering? So clocking in, clocking out, what work they've done and stuff like that. They also should be sending a report to you, what they have done for that client. So because the client has to be happy in order for this to keep going, of course. Otherwise, they'll cancel, right? Hopefully, this drop servicing tutorial was super helpful. But if you still have questions, doubts, and you're not sure how you can start your own drop servicing business, I've actually got a 3-month drop servicing mentorship. It's not a course, okay? It's a mentorship where we work one-on-one using video calls where I teach you step by step how to start your own drop servicing business. It can be in any niche: graphic design, video editing, web development, cybersecurity, VA agencies, doesn't matter, social media marketing, running Google ads, whatever the case may be, whatever the business that you have in your head for your drop servicing agency, I can help you to get it started. I mentored so many people in the last year from UK, US, New Zealand, France, Netherlands, India, Malaysia, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, etc., etc. If you want to be in the next, apply here and we can chat about it. Thanks for watching this video. Drop a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'm going to see you in the next video.